Hi everyone, welcome back to another classic movie review. I'm trying something a little different with the microphone placement today, so let me know how the audio sounds. Hopefully this way you can hear me a little bit better. I don't have to project as loudly, but hopefully my hair isn't going to be brushing back and forth against the mic. Also, I don't know how my hair looks. I'm not really that happy with it today, but you can give me feedback on my hair as well. So today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite movies of all time. You're going to hear that phrase a lot. I have a lot of favorite things of all time, by the way, but that's just because I'm a very passionate person. When I like something, I like it all the way. But this movie I've seen maybe like 50 to 75 times. I can quote this movie. I can recite it at any given scene, any given character. I adore this movie. It is a perfect 10 out of 10. There's nothing in it I would change. So I'm excited to be talking about it today. And of course, I'm talking about the 1995 version of Sabrina and not the original, for anyone out there who was wondering. Unfortunately, I know the 1953 original film has Audrey Hepburn. I know I'm obsessed with Audrey Hepburn, but even my obsession with Audrey Hepburn is not enough for me to say, yeah, the original film is better, because it's not. So today it's going to be a little bit different because I am going to do a review about the movie, but I am going to compare it to the remake and why I think the remake is actually better than its classic original source material. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's start off with a 1953 version of Sabrina, since this is a classic movie review video. Sabrina Fairchild, played by Audrey Hepburn, is the daughter of a chauffeur that works for the Larrabee family. Linus Larrabee, played by Humphrey Bogart, is the older brother, and David Larrabee, played by William Holden, is the younger brother. Now, Sabrina has loved David all her life, pined after him. David, David, why won't you notice me? David, of course, is a playboy. He's been married several times, way too busy with all his debutantes to look at little old Sabrina. Sabrina goes to Paris. She comes back, this gorgeous Parisian chic woman. David instantly is attracted to her, head over heels, hubba hubba, who is this woman? And this, of course, causes problems because Linus is thinking David is now going to bail on his fiance and go after Sabrina. So Linus gets involved. Linus tries to make Sabrina love him so that she will stop chasing after David. There's this love triangle. You get the picture. Now, here's the thing. Sabrina and Linus are supposed to end up together in the film. You're supposed to, as an audience, say, oh yeah, I can totally see how Sabrina goes after Linus. I can totally understand how she falls in love with Linus instead of David. That never happens for you as an audience member. In my opinion, at least, I am never, ever on board with Sabrina and Linus because they are so mismatched. And yes, this is because Audrey Hepburn and Humphrey Bogart could have not been more wrong for each other. First of all, Humphrey Bogart wasn't even the original choice for Linus Larrabee. It was supposed to be Cary Grant. Now, Cary Grant would have been so much better. But he turned down the role. He said he was too old for Audrey Hepburn, which doesn't explain why he went on to star with Grace Kelly in To Catch a Thief, because she's the same age as Audrey Hepburn. Whatever. Maybe, I think Audrey just has this youthful spirit, so she seems so much younger than she actually is. She's like this little fairy pixie from another land. She just doesn't seem real. And I think maybe Cary Grant just didn't feel he could perform the role well. But regardless, Humphrey Bogart was their choice. I don't know why they chose him. He even felt like he wasn't right for the role. But unfortunately, we got Humphrey Bogart. Billy Wilder and William Holden had actually worked together in the past, and Humphrey Bogart thought that Billy Wilder was going to give Holden special treatment. So it created some animosity on set. There was actually Humphrey Bogart had his own little parties. He invited everyone except Billy Wilder, Audrey, and William. And so Billy Wilder, William, and Audrey would have their own little parties where Humphrey Bogart was invited. It was very immature, the stuff that was going on during the filming of this movie. And it's really hard for me to imagine that didn't bleed over into their performances, because I don't even think I saw Humphrey Bogart smile once in Sabrina. And you're supposed to think that he was actually charming enough for Sabrina to leave David for. And no, He's such a grouch in the movie. He's miserable. He doesn't seem like he wants to be there because Humphrey himself did not want to be there. Audrey and William were actually having an affair during the filming of Sabrina, a very passionate affair. William Holden never stopped burning that candle for her for the rest of his life. And that also doesn't help my perception of believing that Sabrina would end up with Linus, because you can see her, just the light turns on in Audrey's eyes when she's with scenes with William Holden. They can't stop smiling. The script wasn't even done when Billy Wilder started filming, so Ernest Lehman, the screenwriter, would have to work on it before breakfast. He'd have to deliver it at lunch, and then they would film at noon. So there wasn't even this concise project by the time they started, and I really think it ends up hurting the movie because it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel finished, and it's way too rushed. The ending is terrible. One of the worst endings in a romance movie I've ever seen. It's pathetic. Okay, it ends with a hug. A hug. Have you ever seen a romance movie ending with a hug? No. I think it's because Audrey and Humphrey Bogart could not stand each other. They probably just thought, I just want this movie to be done with. I can't anymore. So to me, all of these things combined, it fails as a romance movie, and it fails as an enjoyable experience. I can't make myself to like it. I love the fashion in it. Audrey had gowns by Givenchy. It's how she started the relationship with him. But it's just nothing in that movie can save it, in my opinion. That's very harsh. It's still worth a watch just because, why not? It's part of the classic movie literature, but yeah, it just doesn't work for me, unfortunately. Now, the 1995 remake directed by Sidney Pollack it's incredible. It is just, like I said, it's a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. It stars Harrison Ford and Julia Ormond, and I would have never guessed in a million years that Harrison Ford could play this very vulnerable, shy, grumpy guy that cracks, and oh my gosh, I just love that movie. I can go on and on about that movie. There's so many sweet, tender moments in that film. He and Julia Ormond have perfect chemistry together. And one of the things that's really good about the remake is that they keep the story. The story is 100% exactly as it is in the original. They change little things here and there to modernize it. But other than that, it's very, very much the same exact movie. David Larrabee is played by Greg Kinnear, and he's just adorable in this movie too. They're so cute together. It's very well cast. But they changed the character of Sabrina. So in the original movie, she's very peppy and playful and mischievous and lighthearted, and she's like a balloon. She's just you cannot tie her down. And in the remake, Julia Ormond plays Sabrina, and she's so demure and shy and sweet and vulnerable. So it really, really matches Linus very well, and you can very much believe that, yeah, she would absolutely fall in love with Linus over David because they match so well together. They're so good for each other. So I think it's incredible that the remake was able to take something like the original, just change a little bit about it without altering the story whatsoever, and it works so much better. I don't understand though why people online like the original better than the remake. I just think you have nostalgia glasses on. You think, oh my gosh, well, they can't compare with Audrey Hepburn, William Holden, Humphrey Bogart. It's not even about comparing them. It's just that it's an objectively better movie because it was just better executed. It had better chemistry with the cast. The script was already done by the time they started filming it. The soundtrack was done by John Williams. There's a lot of really positive things about the film that make it pretty much flawless in my opinion. So I think it's just rare where you have a remake that completely outshines the original. Well, this has happened a couple times too. There's another movie I'll talk about in the future, An Affair to Remember. That was a remake of an original film, pretty much shot for shot. But of course, the remake is all everyone talks about. So in my opinion, I just think the remake of Sabrina is much better than the original as well. It's just one of those gems that I'm so glad that I have because I love that movie. If you guys haven't seen either Sabrina movie, I would highly recommend doing a back-to-back. Do a feature so you can see for yourself and see what you think. Maybe you have a totally different takeaway from it, and I'd like to hear differing opinions. So yeah, I guess I'll just see everyone next time, and let me know if I should, again, do the mic placement, or if I need to work on that too, or if I need to do something different with my hair. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Have a good week. Bye.